Where did morality come from? Is God personal? The most common argument for the existence of Father is some variations on the argument from design. From a watch, you deduce the necessities of a watchmaker. This is a good starting point, but the argument from design leaves unanswered the question of whether Father is personal or impersonal. Some conclude that the watchmaker bears the name nature or life force, the unknowable, and is thus impersonal. Is reasonable instead to conclude that Father is personal. A legend persists in the Hebrides Islands, Hebrides Islands, of a god, lowercase g, who lived in the coastal waters. This lowercase g god wanted a child to rear as his son, so he was always trying to snatch infant boys from the small boats that plied the waters among the islands. The islanders knew of the lowercase g god's intentions, so mothers never relaxed their grip on their wee Bairns, Bairns. One day, the lowercase g god took the form of a wave, breaking into a boat, and almost tore a babe from his mother's arms. The woman shrieked but kept her grip on her son's feet and legs. The sea lowercase g god let go, but he knew he had planted the smallest of wavelets in the boy's heart. Years later, the villagers were shocked to see the young man cast off a rowboat, strike out into the deepest waters, and dive into a mountainous wave that rose to meet him. The legend said the boy with the sea is in his heart was never seen on land again. That's interesting. The image of God or Father in us. The Bible insists that there is a wave, a trace of Father's image in every human personality. Then Father said, "Let us make man in our image according to our likeness." So Father created man in his own image. In the image of Father, he created him, male and female. He created them. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and 27. The image of Father in humanity does not mean that we look like Father, but that in our moral and spiritual aspects we reflect something of Father's character. In Psalms 8, David made this same transition from the design of the universe to the moral nature of humanity. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have ordained, what is man that you are mindful of him? For you have made him a little lower than the angels, and you have crowned him with the glory and honor. Verse 3 and 5. God, or Father, the origin of morality. The moral fingerprints of Father linger in us. Whenever we admit that there is more to the moral makes up of humanity than an evolutionary group insists, or an enlightened self-interest, we admit the likelihood that Father exists and that Father is personal and he rather than an it. Human consciousness and moral ideas are remarkably similar across space geographically and time history. The subcategory of design in the universe, namely moral design in men and women as bearers of Father's image, it is evidence that the Father who is there in a person and the source of our very idea of personality. It's very interesting. And I wanted to read this one. Ecclesiastes or something like that, chapter 8, submit to authority. Who is like a wise man, and who knows the interpretations of a thing? A man's wisdom makes his face shine, and the sternness of his face is changed. I counsel you, keep the king's commandment for the sake of your oath to Father. The king's commandment is in 1 John chapter 4, verse 21 or 19. The commandment is love. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. 3. Do not be hasty to go from his presence. Do not take your stand for an evil thing, for he does whatever pleases him. Where the words of the king is, there is power. And who may say to him, what are you doing? He who keeps his commandments will experience nothing harmful, and a wise man's heart discerns both time and judgment. Because for every matter there is a time and judgment, though the misery of men increase greatly, for he does not know what will happen. So who can tell him when it will occur? No one has power over the Spirit to retain the Spirit, and no one has power in the day of death. There is no discharge in that war, and wickedness will not deliver those who are given to it. All this I have seen, and applied my heart, every work that is done under the sun. There is a time in which one man rules over another to his own hurt. This title says, Inability to Understand All Father's Doings. Then I saw the wicked buried, who had come and gone from the place of holiness, and they were forgotten in the city where they had so done. This also is vanity, because the sentence against an evil work is not excused speedily. Therefore the heart of the Son of Men is fully set in them to do evil. Though a sinner does evil 100 times and his days are prolonged, yet I surely know that it will be well with those who fear Father, who fear before him. But it will not be well with the wicked, nor will he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he does not fear before Father. There is a vanity which occurs on earth, that there are just men to whom it happens occur to the works of the wicked. Again, according to the works of the wicked, or works of the wicked, again, there are wicked men to whom it happens, according to their works of the righteous. I say that this also is vanity. So I command enjoyment, because a man has nothing better under the sun than to eat, drink, and be married, for this will remain with him in his labors for the days of his life, which Father gives him under the sun. When I apply my heart to know wisdom, and to see the business that is done on earth, even though one sees no sleep day or night, then I saw all the work of Father, that a man cannot find out the works that is done under the sun. For though a man labors to discover it, yet he will not find it. Moreover, though a wise man attempts to know it, and he will not be able to find it. Chapter 9. Judgment comes to all men. For I consider all this in my heart, so that I could declare it all, that the righteous and the wise and their works are in the hands of Father. People now neither love nor hatred by anything that is before them. Everything occurs alike to all. One event happens to the righteous and the wicked, the good, the clean, and the unclean. To him who sacrifices and him who does not sacrifice, as the good so is the sinners, and he who takes an oath as he who fears an oath. This is an evil in all that is done under the sun, that one thing happens to all. Truly the hearts of the sons of men are full of evil. Madness is in their hearts while they live, and after that they go to the dead. But for him who is joined to all the living, there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. For the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing, and they have no more reward. For the memory of them is forgotten. Also their love, their hatred, and their envy have now perished. Never more will have a share in anything done under the sun. Enjoy life while you have it. That's the title. Go eat your bread with joy. This is the bread, the word. And drink your wine with a merry heart. The new wine, agape, the new love. You can get drunk off it. If you get in Father's love, yeah, people start looking at you like you're high and you're drunk and stuff, and you can't stop laughing. I mean, it's really a trip. I know I don't never speak any tongue. I mean, I was just giggling and laughing a lot. But yeah, so, and drink your wine with a merry heart, for your Father has already accepted your works. Let your garments always be white, and let your head lack no oil. The anointment. We empty our cups because He overfills our cups. Live joyful with the wife whom you love all the days of your vain life. You hear that? It says, live joyfully with the wife whom you love all the days of your vain life. And in women it says, live joyfully with the husband whom you loved all the days of your vain life. What is vain? We were made in vain, which He has given you under the sun. All your days of vanity, for that is your portion in life, and in the labors which you perform under the sun. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with your might. For there is no work or deceive or knowledge or wisdom in the grave where you are going. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor bread to the wise, nor riches to men of understanding, nor favor to men of skills, but time and chances happen to them all. For man also does not know his time, like fish taken in a cruel net, like birds caught in a snare. So the Son of Men are snared in an evil time, when it falls suddenly upon them. Comes like a thief in the night. We are in the end of times, right? The days of Noah. Noah means rest, and rest means grace. So if you really look at it, we're in the days of resting in His grace. Whose grace? Father's grace. Jesus Christ, Father. We rest. Hebrews 4:11. I believe it's Hebrews. I'm going to turn to that chapter because I keep mentioning it. Value of wisdom. This wisdom I have not seen under the sun, and it seems great to me. There was a little city with a few men in it, and a great king came against it, besieged it, and built great snares around it. Now there was found in it a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom delivered the city. Yet no one remembered that same poor man. Then I said, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. Words of the wise spoken quietly should be heard, rather the shout of the ruler of fools. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroys much good. Where am I? I'm going to read another one because this is really deep. Wisdom's characteristics. Characteristics, chapter 10. Dead flies, put free the perfumer's ointment, and caused it to give off a foul odor. So does a little folly to one respect for wisdom and honor. A wise man's heart is at his right hand, but a fool's heart is at his left. Even when a fool walks along the way, he lacks wisdom, and he shows everyone that he is a fool. If the spirit of the ruler rises against you, do not leave your post. For consolation, Pacifist, P-A-C-I-F-I-E-S, great offense. There is an evil I have seen under the sun, and an error producing from the rulers. Folly is set in great dignity, while the rich sit in low places. I have seen servants on horses, while princes walk on the ground like servants. We all are princes. We fell to the sky to breed and make love with women. That's crazy. And it says that, I have seen servants on horses while princes walk on the ground like servants. That's deep. He who digs a pit will fall into it, and he who breaks through a wall will be bitten by a serpent. He who quarries stones may be hurt by them, and he who split wood may be endangered by it. If an axe is dull, and one does not sharpen the edge, then he must use more strength. but wisdom brings success. A serpent may bite when it is not charmed. The babbler, Babbler, is one different. The words of a wise man's mouth are gracious, but the lips of a fool shall swallow him up. The words of his mouth begin with foolishness, and the end of his talk is raving madness. A fool also multiplies words. No man knows what is to be. Who can tell him what will be after him? The labor of fools wearies them, for they do not even know how to go to the city. Wisdom relates to the king. That's the title. Woe to you, O land, when your king is a child, and your prince feasts in the morning. Blessed are you, O land, when your king is son of nobles, and your princes feast at the proper time, for strength and not for drunkenness. That means being stoned, drunkenness. Be sober-minded. We gotta be sober-minded. Means we can't use nothing. We get high and drunk and whatever term you want to use off Father's name. We keep our eyes on Father and we fill our cups with oil, ink. You need oil to make ink. Here's ink. 2 pages. One eyeball, one eyeball. Stay focused on your Bible. You won't know what's happening around you because you'll be in His grace. You'll be in His grace, His love. And that's the same love you have for yourself. You just have to discover it. But yeah. For strength and not for drunkenness. Strength. Meekness through long sufferings. Like Job. He didn't get drunk or high for the pain and stuff. He just sat there singing and just talking to Father. Because of laziness, the buildings decayed, and through idleness of hands the house leaks. A feast is made for laughter, and wine makes merry, but money answers everything. Do not curse the king even in your thoughts. Do not curse the rich even in your bedroom. For a bird of the air may carry your voice, and a bird in flight may tell the matter. That's crazy. I always, birds are the messengers for the light workers. And every time I'm praying or talking about Father or having a deep thought talking to Father, there's always like a mourning dove or a bird, at least one bird just sitting real close, like, wow. And you be talking and does not move, and it just stares at you. Cardinals do it. Yeah. All right. Chapter 11. Wisdom relates to business. Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days. Give a serving to 7 and also to 8. For you do not know what evil will be on earth. If the clouds are full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. And if a tree falls to the south for the north, in the place where the tree falls, there it shall lie. He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap. As you do not know what is the way of the wind, or how the bones grow in the womb of her who is with child, so you do not know the works of Father, who makes all things. In the morning sow your seeds, and in the evening do not withhold your hands. For you do not know which will prosper, either this or that, or whether both alike will be good. Title of this one is Rejoice in Your Youth. Truly the light is sweet, and it is pleasant for the eyes to behold the sun. But if man lives many years, and rejoices in them all, yet let him remember the days of darkness, for they will be many. All that is coming is vanity. Rejoice, O young man, in your youth, and let your heart cheer you in the days of your youth. Walk in the ways of your heart, and in the sight of your eyes. But know that for all this, Father will bring you into judgment. Therefore remove sorrow from your hearts, and put away evil from your flesh. For childhood and youth are vanity. Chapter 12. Remember, Father, in your youth. Remember now your creation in the days of your youth, before the difficult days come and the years draw near. When you say, I have no pleasures in them, while the sun and the light, the moon and the stars are not darkened, and the clouds do not return after the rain. In the day when the keeper of the house trembles, and the strong men bow down, when the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look through the windows grow dim, when the doors are shut in the streets, and the sound of grinding is low, when one rises up at the sound of a bird, and all the daughters of music are brought low. Also when they are afraid of heights, and of terror in the way, when the almond tree blossoms, the grasshopper is a burden, and desire fails. For men go to his eternal home, and the mourners go about the streets. Remember your Creator before the silver cord is loose, or the golden bowl is broken, or the pitcher shattered at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the well. Then the dust will return to the earth as it was, and the spirits will return to Father who gave it. Vanity or vanities, says the preacher of all, is vanities. Title of this one, Fear Father and Keep His Commandments. And moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yes, he pondered and sought out and set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought to find acceptable words, and what was written was upright words of truth. The words of the wise are like goads, Goads, and nails, given by one shepherd. And further, my son, be admonished by this. Of making many books there is no end, and much study is wearisome to the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Father and keep His commandments. His commandment is to love one another. For this is the whole duty of man. For Father will bring every work into judgment, include every secret thing, whether it is good or whether it is evil. Yeah, that was deep. That was 12 of Ecclesiastes. So I read 12, 11, 10. I read a lot. Sorry about that. It's just something in my heart pulled me. I read 8 through 12. No? Yeah, but this is really deep. Like this chapter from where I just read, 12, 1 through 12, this really talks about like wisdom, the difference between someone who has wisdom and someone who is of flesh. And it goes back to like a saying that I always was thinking about. A wise man will listen, but a foolish man is quick to respond. Great patience brings great wisdom. Great patience brings great peace. When you find your heaven within you, that's where you go. Because if you're at your heaven, it'll be like when Christ was getting hit by the whip and stuff and getting tore up and stuff. You know, they said no man could take a beating like that. But you know, we have all these videos of people that get into this like deep meditation. They get into this deep meditation. They could be submerged in cold water for hours. They could be in hot shit or hot stuff, excuse my language, for hours. And they find this deep meditation. They get into this deep meditation and find this place. And it's like, you know, they say meditation's evil. I don't really think. I mean, I'm meditating right now in Father's name. Hebrews 4:11. Let me read that. Because I say it a lot. Because Father says it to me a lot. He goes, Josh, Hebrews 4:11. When I look at the clock, usually it'll be around 4:11. And I could hear it in the back of my damn head. Like, Hebrews 4:11. Hebrews 4:11. But yeah, alright, here it is. Hebrews. Let's read Hebrews 4:11. Alright. Let us therefore be diligent to enter that rest, lest anyone fall after the same example of the disobedient. That's 4:11? Hebrews 4:11. I don't know what version this Bible is, but this version says, let us therefore be diligent to enter that rest. Let anyone fall after the same, lest anyone falls after the same example of the disobedient. What are the disobedient? Whatever Father says, disobedient. I don't judge. So I swore in my wrath, they shall not enter my rest. What? For he who had believed do enter that rest, and he has said, so I sworn in my wrath, they shall not enter my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. For he has spoken in certain places of the servant of the seventh day in this way, and Father rest on the seventh day from all his work. And again, in this place they shall not enter my rest, since therefore